In the sands of Saqqara, far from the bustling Cairo of today, there existed a necropolis, a city of the dead where pharaohs built their tombs to rival the heavens themselves. It was here in this sacred burial ground that Djoser's step pyramid first rose like a gigantic staircase reaching up to the gods. No one had ever built anything like it. Carved from millions of massive limestone blocks weighing up to 30 tons each, it was designed not to crumble like the mud brick tombs before it, but to stand strong against the relentless march of time, a monument to declare the greatness of Pharaoh Djoser and his eternal destiny. But when we look closer at the step pyramid, we uncover a secret. For beneath the grandeur lies a labyrinth of hidden tunnels and chambers stretching over 5 kilometers in length. They are like a mini-city buried beneath the desert sands, containing more than 200 rooms and passages. The entire complex is over 60 meters deep. That's as deep as a 20-story building. So why did they build such an elaborate network of tunnels? What secrets does it hold? Join us as we venture underground to discover what the step pyramid is really hiding. When Djoser came to power around 2680 BC, the Egyptian kingdoms were still figuring out how best to bury their pharaohs. Many rulers chose to be entombed in simple flat-roofed structures called mastaba, which were essentially large rectangular chambers made of mud brick. However, Djoser wanted something different, something that would reflect his own divinity and usher him correctly into the afterlife. He wanted to reach the heavens, or rather have his soul staircase towards them. Thus he commissioned the world's first true pyramid, a monument that would become synonymous with Egypt. A design so revolutionary that subsequent pharaohs would try to outdo its magnificence for centuries. But the pyramid itself was only half of the story. For while the massive stone structure that loomed over the burial grounds acted as a physical stairway to the heavens, there had to be a path for the pharaoh's soul to follow as well. And what better way to guide his spirit on its journey than through a subterranean labyrinth? This vast underground realm beneath the pyramid was much more than just a burial place. It was a passage to the next world. Imagine descending into darkness through narrow shafts, passing through corridors lined with strange symbols and hieroglyphics that seem to writhe and twist in the dim torchlight. Then suddenly emerging into vast chambers adorned with vibrant colors, filled with treasures meant to sustain the pharaoh in his next journey. Some rooms were circular, perhaps for rituals or meditation, while others contained niches for statues or offerings to the gods. There were even mock-up tombs with false doors set along the passages, as if to confuse any grave robbers who might stumble upon them. But the main attraction lay further in, reached by descending into the deepest level, the king's chamber. It was crafted from huge granite blocks and decorated with more precious materials like lapis lazuli, red granite and gold leaf, creating a dazzling spectacle in the dim oil lamp light. Here, sarcophagi lay on raised platforms and the walls were covered with protective spells, incantations and images meant to ward off evil spirits. It was a place of great power, where the veil between the worlds was thinnest and the pharaoh could make his final preparations for meeting his gods. But it was also a place of great secrecy, for there were many twists and turns in the passage leading here, designed to confound anyone who trespassed and prevent them from finding the king's final resting place. To get lost in these catacombs was easy, but to escape them, nearly impossible. This brings us back to the question we posed earlier: what exactly was the purpose of this labyrinth? What was Imhotep trying to accomplish by creating such a complicated network of tunnels beneath the pyramid? Well, the answer is twofold. Firstly, it was a means to protect the pharaoh's remains and ensure his safe passage into the afterlife. After all, it was believed that grave robbers, or those with evil intent who trespassed on sacred ground, ran the risk of incurring the pharaoh's vengeful spirit. By making his tomb difficult, if not impossible to navigate, Djoser could be sure that his final resting place would remain undisturbed. Secondly, the labyrinth also served as a sort of decoy, distracting potential intruders with false chambers and offerings while concealing the true burial chamber with its valuable treasures deeper below. It was a test of faith and fortune, a gamble that only those truly seeking to honor the pharaoh would have the patience and luck to navigate the catacombs correctly and reach the innermost sanctum. Those who failed, however, would still leave with something, either by making offerings at the various altars throughout the tunnels or by taking pieces of the labyrinth as construction materials, which were rumored to possess magical properties. In this way, the step pyramid ensured that Djoser's legacy would live on even in the event of his tomb's desecration, a testament to the enduring power of faith and belief in the face of adversity. So what did the inside of the step pyramid look like? How did Djoser's catacombs compare to other Egyptian tombs of his day? Well, unlike his predecessors, who opted for traditional mastaba tombs, Djoser's burial chamber was constructed entirely from granite, a durable material associated with eternity. Instead of being placed in a simple pit or small chamber, his sarcophagus rested on a raised platform in the center of the main chamber, surrounded by ritual altars and offering tables. Above, the ceiling was adorned with intricate paintings depicting Djoser making offerings to the gods. The walls were covered in protective spells and incantations, ensuring the pharaoh's safe passage to the afterlife. But the most striking feature of the chamber was its rich decoration. Unlike the stark white limestone of the rest of the pyramid, the inner sanctum was decorated with precious materials like lapis lazuli, red granite, and gold leaf. Statues of Djoser and his wife stood guard at the entrance, while reliefs depicting scenes from his life and afterlife adorned the walls. The result was a dazzling spectacle of color and grandeur, a fitting final resting place for a king who had been deified. But as we know, the burial chamber was only one part of the pyramid. The real marvel lay in the vast network of tunnels and chambers that connected to it. These catacombs, as they are known today, are a confusing warren of narrow passages and larger rooms, some circular, some square, each with their own unique purpose. Some may have been used for ritual purposes or as storage rooms for offerings, while others may have served as living quarters for priests or servants who tended the tomb. But the overall effect was one of utter disorientation. Anyone venturing inside would quickly find themselves lost in a labyrinth of identical corridors and chambers, unsure of where they were or how to escape. This was by design, of course, for as we have already discussed, it was extremely important to Djoser that his tomb be protected from grave robbers and desecration. By making it virtually impossible to navigate, he ensured that only those with pure intentions would ever find their way to the innermost sanctum. However, this also presented a unique challenge for archaeologists who first began exploring the catacombs in the mid-19th century. Without any maps or records of the layout, they were forced to inch forward through the pitch-black tunnels, feeling their way along the cool, damp walls until they stumbled upon a new chamber or passageway. It was a painstaking process that required the utmost care and precision, for there was always the risk of accidentally damaging valuable artifacts or collapsing ancient masonry. But thanks to the efforts of these intrepid explorers, we now have a good understanding of the catacombs layout, which is nothing short of astonishing. Spanning over 60 meters in depth, the tunnels run beneath the entire footprint of the pyramid, with some sections even extending beyond the outer limits of the structure. All told, the labyrinth contains over 200 rooms and passages, including several false tombs and decoy chambers filled with valuable offerings and statues. It's a subterranean city hidden beneath the sands of time, a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of ancient Egyptian architects. But what about the man himself? What happened to Djoser after his death, And how did he become the legendary figure we know today? Well, as we have seen, Djoser's obsession with the afterlife led him to commission the largest and most elaborate tomb Egypt had ever seen. And in many ways, it was a success. Despite the passage of millennia, the Step Pyramid still stands in all its grandeur, a silent testament to Djoser's desire for immortality. But what of his mortal remains? Did they truly achieve their goal of reaching the heavens? Unfortunately, there is no way to say for certain. History tells us that Djoser died sometime around the 27th year of his 43-year reign. But what happened to his body afterwards? That is anyone's guess. Some believe that his sarcophagus remained undisturbed in the deepest chamber, while others claim that it was lost or stolen long ago. In fact, there are rumors that the bones of Imhotep, Djoser's legendary architect, can still be found in the catacombs, interred alongside his master. But again, there is no way to confirm these stories. Nevertheless, the legend of Djoser lives on, not just in the magnificent ruins of his pyramid, but also in the hearts and minds of the Egyptian people. Over the centuries, he became known as the first true God King, a divine ruler who brought order and stability to a chaotic world. His image was revered and his memory celebrated in countless works of art and literature. And though his name is now little more than a whisper on the wind, his legacy continues to inspire awe and wonder in those who behold his timeless monument. As we stand before the weathered stones of Djoser's Step Pyramid, it's hard to believe that we are looking at the very first of its kind, the prototype for all the monumental pyramids that followed. It's a testament to the genius of the ancient Egyptians that this design, born over 4,500 years ago, still evokes such wonder and amazement in our modern world. And yet as we explore the labyrinth of tunnels and chambers beneath the pyramid, we can't help but feel a sense of unease, a primal fear of the unknown that lies in the darkness ahead. Who knows what secrets are hidden within these ancient walls, what mysteries lie dormant beneath the shifting sands of time? Perhaps there are artifacts of immeasurable value, or maybe the very essence of Pharaoh Djoser himself, preserved for eternity in the heart of his magnificent tomb. One thing is for sure, the Step Pyramid is not just a relic of the past, but a portal to another world, a world of pharaohs and gods and the endless mysteries of the afterlife.